Hi, everybody. I will continue with the real estate and I will talk a little bit about sale of property. So the procedure is different from when you buy. So you decided to sell a property. You have some options. You can do it yourself or you can do it with an agent. And if you don't have an agent, you can ask around your friends, you can Google, you can review them, you can look at Facebook. There's tons of options where to find them. They're everywhere and they're eager to help. They're great people, very friendly, usually very accommodating, at least the ones we work with. They're super nice and super professional. Or you can ask your lawyer if you have a lawyer who dealt with you on anything else. You can ask them if they have an agent that they can recommend, because we have lots of professionals that we know and we're always happy to recommend somebody to you, to our clients. So you found an agent and they have now some rules. They had it for a while now that you have to sign contract with them. They will explain you that, and you pay attention to that because that contract puts you in a relationship with the agent that you cannot just easily break up, and you have to sell them this house with that agent. If I'm wrong, the agents can correct me. I've seen situations where people just walked away and went with another agent, but every agent should ask you if you sign any agreement with anybody else, because they don't want to get in trouble with their governing body. Okay, so they will ask you and you have to be honest. You have to tell them whether you signed anything or not, because then it's going to be trouble for everybody. It could be a trouble for everybody. So everything is good. You chose an agent and now you're starting to sell that property. Okay, I'm not going to go through the details how you listing it and selling it, because I never do that. I don't know what's happening there. So let's say you got an agent and the house is sold. Okay, and then if you didn't have a lawyer or don't know the lawyer, then your agent can recommend you a lawyer, or you know a lawyer that you can just tell them the name and they'll put in an offer. So then the offer goes to that lawyer. Okay, let's say your offer came to us, and what are we gonna do? So we're gonna send you our welcome letter where we describe our fees, what we need from you, when we're gonna meet, and so on. So in this letter, the very important information for us is for you to confirm that yes, you agree to our fees, and then we can start working. After you confirm that, we'll ask you to send us your ID, copy of your IDs, and we will start opening the file and doing searches. Why we don't want to start doing any searches until you confirm that you want us to proceed? Because all the searches cost money, and we had situation where we were the lawyers on the file, but then all of a sudden we've done all the work, and we called the client and he said, oh, I went to another lawyer. Oh well, yeah, sad. So those were our lessons, and we decided we don't do that anymore until we have your written confirmation. And we will not open the file. We're not going to do any work at all. No searches, nothing. So we do the searches and we see, let's say, your tax information, property tax. We see your title and we see you have a mortgage, okay? So in order for us to know how much money you're owing on that property and whether we can close the deal, we have to communicate with your bank directly. We cannot rely on your statement, how much left there, because there could be penalties, maybe some line of credits that somehow attached to this property, and so on. So what we do, we will ask you to send us a last statement from your lender, which will give us all the information we need in order to communicate with the bank to ask for discharge statement. That's an official statement from the bank that will show us how much money on the possession date is when the new people moving in, or the day you have to be out of your home, how much money we owe to the bank. And then they're going to give us interest or per diem amount. So how much money we have to add when we pay it out in case we didn't pay it the same day. And usually we never pay it the same day because money never arrived the same day. The situation is now changed in Manitoba, but we can discuss it later because based on the old ways of doing it, we would get a certain amount, and then next day or so we get another amount, the balance, and then we pay. And depending when we got the money, so we might not be able to run out and send this money right away to the bank because we don't do it electronically. We will have to send our trust check with a trust letter to the bank. And sometimes if the bank is in Ontario, right, we have those banks that they don't have offices in Manitoba, so we have to calculate that time when it's going to be delivered, right? So we have to make all these calculations. Anyway, once we get that discharge statement, we have to make calculations. So we have to see how much you sold it house for. We have to see how much we have to pay a realtor, how much we have to pay to us, how much we have to pay for any arrears that are related to the house. Let's say you have a huge water bill that we have to pay, or you have taxes owing. So anything that is connected to the house that we need to pay out, we need to consider. Maybe there's some lien. Maybe somebody did work for you, you didn't pay, and they put a lien on it, so we'll have to pay it out. So we look through your title and see what is there that has to be paid. And then we'll make all these calculations, and if everything is good, we have enough money, then we can close the deal. In my practice of many years as a lawyer, I had couple times when there was not enough money and the deal fell apart. So in that situation, I represented the buyer, and when the seller's lawyer started to calculate, they realized that because of all these judgments or whatever was on the title, they couldn't close the deal. The client didn't have money to pay all that debt, and transaction fell apart. Sometimes, yes, people know they're going to be short and they have money to cover the shortfall, so they have to bring it in advance because we're not going to close the deal until we have enough money in a trust account, because as a lawyer, I guarantee to other lawyer that I will remove all this stuff from the title and give a clear title to the lawyer, okay? So we do that. So once we receive that discharge, and basically we don't have, let's say there is no other judgments or nothing there, liens. So all we have to do is to prepare the package for you to sign. Very important questions that we ask if you're in the process of separation or divorce, or we look at the title and we see, okay, there's two people, right? Two people, then obviously two people have to come and sign. Maybe somebody is not able to sign, but they have a power of attorney, they can sign. So we have to make sure that power of attorney is going to be acceptable by land titles office, because sometimes they're not. So we have to review it in advance. Then if we have one person on a title, but we find out, and actually that has to be disclosed in the offer, that there was a spouse living there, there should be a consent to a homestead rules, and we'll talk about homestead. That's a totally separate, my favorite topic. So that spouse has to sign, and not only the offer, they also have to sign the transfer. So, and if there was no homestead release, so if that separation or divorce took place some time ago before this closing, and everything was done, homestead release filed, so we don't have to deal with that spouse, okay? So we can proceed like it's a not homestead property. So we'll ask you all these questions, and then we'll prepare documents and we'll meet with you. We'll sign it. You will provide us with one key at least, because we have to send it to another lawyer. And that's it. You make sure that you leave the property, preferably clean, because we don't want to deal later with all that stuff. Sometimes people leave their mattresses or whatever, and then we have to deal with that. So preferably you leave it clean. And so the transaction goes smooth, nobody complains. And then once we get the money from the other side, all the balance, we right away pay your mortgage, we pay a realtor, we pay us, and whatever we had to pay. And then we'll release money to you for the convenience. We can ask you if you want us to put the money into your account. You can provide us with a void check, and my assistant can go and deposit it for you. So sometimes people just prefer to come and get their money, which is fine too. But we don't do any wires from our trust account. I just don't do that. And then we're waiting for just a bank to send us a title confirming that your mortgage is removed from the title. And by that time, the title will be on the names of new owners, and we have to send that confirmation to another lawyer who representing the buyers. Real sale transaction usually very easy to complete, I would say, if everything goes smooth. There's only like a couple documents, and we can discuss it later what they are. We can discuss them in detail, like 5, maybe 6 documents that you have to sign. It's totally different from when we're signing the mortgage, because sometimes it's just like this much that we have to sign pages after pages after pages. And the frustrating part with signing a mortgage for clients is that they already signed a lot of those paperwork with the bank directly electronically, because they come and say, well, I've seen that paper, I've signed that paper, like commitment and waiver of insurance or anything, disclosure and so on. So, but unfortunately they have to sign it again. So those are the rules we have to follow. Anyway, this is the sale transaction. We will discuss sales during divorce, how complicated they can be, how one spouse can buy out the other spouse, because I do divorces as well, or separations. And my husband is a divorce lawyer. He has been in litigation for 30 years. And so they do those transfers. They're completely different from the transfer between strangers. And we'll make a separate video about that. So stay tuned and follow us. Bye.